Welcome back. I am JTIT. Uh, Today on the CPT, we are going to be doing EIGRE configuration. For some reason, I always want to call this EIRGP. I don't know why. It's just a mental thing I have. As you can see, EIGRP stands for Enhanced Interior Gateway Routing Protocol. Okay, so our objective for today is we are going to configure EIGRP on a few routers, establishing connections between different networks, well, subnets in our network, right? And we're going to also verify that our EIGRP neighbors are indeed communicating with each other. Okay, why we do this? I mean, efficiency really, right? It's just making your network more autonomous. Instead of having to enter all of this data, all the routing tables, everything like that manually, these will share all the routing tables and things like that. They also decide, using an algorithm, the shortest distance to travel to a certain destination. Like let's look at here, packet tracer. Let's say you had a diamond of routers and you had a PC connected on each one. EIGRP will make it so if you're going from this PC to this PC up here, it's not going to go all the way around. It'll just go, okay, here's the shortest path. Boom, we're going there. Right? As you know, when we did VLAN configuration, if you don't configure things, the traffic would just go everywhere. It wouldn't decide where the shortest route is. It would just go. And whichever path it would take would be the path it took, right? So this makes it faster, more efficient, just like everything else we do, right? So let's get started. We're going to need our other router here. I've already configured these two routers here. So I'm just bringing this new one in here so you can kind of see what it looks like. All right. So we're going to make our connections. Of course, we need our cross cable GI001. I'm going to do the same on this one, just so it's easier to remember. And we're going to go from 0 to 0 over here. Okay, so they're connected here. Now we're going to go in here. Should we change the names? You guys like router 0, 3, and 2? Yeah, that's fine, right? So we're going to go in here. We're going to go in here. So you're going to get this. Do you want to do this? We do not. Okay, so we're going to get into enable mode. We're going to get into config mode, our favorite mode. And now we're just going to set up the interfaces on this router so that they're open and they're connected with each other, right? So you see we got a network here, 10.0.0.0. So the IP address on this interface over here, I'm pretty sure is 10.0.0.1. And then you see we got a network over here, 10.0.1.0. So I'm pretty sure this is 10. Well, this is probably 10.0.1.2. And just to make sure, I'm just going to check this out. Because why not? 10.0.0.1. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to go in here. And we're going to set up our first interface, GI 0/0/1. We're going to give it an IP address and remember the network. So we're going to give it, oh, and also remember the IP address of that other router's interface. So we're going to give it this one right here, 10.0.0.2. And of course, the subnet mask. Except this one, we're going to give 252 just because we don't need a whole boatload of IP addresses when it's just a point-to-point connection between routers. We only need the 2, so we're going to give it that, okay? 252. Now we are going to make sure that it's open. So we're going to do no shut. Remember, if you don't open it, nothing will happen, right? Okay, so we've done that. Now we're going to go to interface GI 0/0/0, which is our one over here on this network here. We're just going to make sure that we put in the right. Okay, so this is 1.2, so we'll put in 1.1 on this one here. Okay, so we're in our interface. We're going to type in, you know it, IP address. And we'll do 10.0.1.1. And of course, the good old subnet mask. Oop. And of course, there's a typo. You always got to do a little typo from time to time. There we are. We got it. And now make sure that it's open. Make sure that it's open. No shut. Perfect. Beautiful. Okay. So now we're going to set up the actual EIGRP itself on this router. Okay, to make sure that all of the routers are communicating. So what we're going to do is we are going to put in router EIGRP, and we've given our EIGRP the ID of 100. So all of them have that. You're going to write this in all of them, right? And now get out of the way. And now we have to make sure that it knows what networks, what subnets that we're using, right? So we're going to type in network 10.0.0.0. And now you got to put in something that's not a subnet mask. It is called a wildcard mask. So this is going to look like this, 0.0.0.3. So this is going to be the opposite of our 252, 255, 255.252, right? The wildcard mask is just the opposite. So you're going to type that in. Yeah, you see now it says it's up. It's now new adjacency, right? So now we're going to put in the other network. Network 10.0.1.0. And again, the wildcard is going to be this, .3. And we're going to push it in. Same thing. It's going to say, hey, it's up. Nice. We're also going to do a little thing. No auto summary, just because we don't need that. Okay. So now, let's test first. We're going to get into enable mode here. We're just going to make sure that these two guys can ping each other, because you always want your PCs to be connected, right? If they're not connected, then what is the point? So we're going to go to desktop. Oh, yeah, right? So just to see what it looks like, I've already given this PC. It's got its gateway. It's got its IP. Don't forget to give the PC an IP, a gateway, right? Without that, it won't work. And we've already connected this to this through this network, right? So the IP for this interface here, GI, what is this? This is 0/0/0001 000. Okay, so for interface 000 over here, the IP address would be the gateway of this 192.168.100.1 to make sure that this can connect, right? So we are going to go to the desktop, we're going to go to the command prompt, and we're going to type in ping 192.168. I know the other one's IP is this, and there we go. We know it's connected all of our packets have been received. Beautiful. Okay, so now we know that works. And again, of course, what you did with this PC, you're going to do with this PC, you're going to do with this interface, right? So now we're going to check and make sure all of our neighbors, they're getting the information from each other. They know how to get from here to over here. So we're going to be in enable mode in the router we just set up. And we're going to put in show IP EIGRP neighbors. I never know if it's neighbor or neighbor. It's always different with OSPF and EIGRP, but I assume it's this. Perfect. Okay. So we have our neighbor here, over here, and we have our other neighbor here, that bad boy router right there. Okay. So we know that it's finding them. So you see these seconds right here. So second, 14, 12. Basically, this is telling you how much time this router is saying hello to this router. Hello. And then this one acknowledges. There's some stuff in between, but the basics is this is hello, are you there? And this one says, yep, I'm here. This is the amount of time where this one says hello. If this one doesn't respond in 14 seconds, this one says, okay, that router is out of order. I'm going to find a new path. Okay. This 40 milliseconds here is how long it takes for the hello and the acknowledgement back and forth. 40 milliseconds. We're super quick, right? So we know our neighbors are there. And now we're going to do another one. Show IP route EIGRP, not EIRGP. Okay, and here we go. So now we can see, we go from this, network right here that this PC is on, and we get there via this, right? We get there via this router right here. That's that router's IP address right there. And we also know we get from this via this router right here, right? So we've seen our neighbors. You've checked, your computers have pinged. You know how much time in between hellos and acknowledgements, or before one router just says, hey, I'm finding a new path. You're taking too long to acknowledge me. You deserve a fist bump because you have successfully configured EIGRP with 3 routers, ensuring dynamic routing and communication between 2 PCs. Congratulations, my friend. Great job. Great work. Keep it up. You'll be a networking pro in no time. Take it easy.